Hey. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to Love, Tips, and Velvet Lips. I'm your host, Marla Renee Stewart, here to talk to you about all things relationships, sex, intimacy, all of those wonderful and amazing things. I just got back from a workout, y'all, so I'm feeling very, very, energized. But I just wanted to come on here today. If you have questions, if you want to submit your questions, you can submit those by going to qrco.de / that's not it. Those are not the right banners. You can submit your questions at qrco.de / lovetipsama, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Today is this month, right? It's November. Can you believe it's November already? I cannot believe it, but here we are. This month is all about sex after what's going on, right? So this first week, we're going to be talking about pregnancy and postpartum. Next week, we'll be talking about after 50 and over, when you are age 50 and over, what starts happening to your body. We're going to talk about grief in the third week. And then in the last week, we are going to talk about trauma. And I believe we have a fifth week, don't we? I don't know. You know, these months are quickly going by. Nope, just 4 weeks this time. But we are, I also probably will go over after, long-term relationships, that kind of thing. But anyway, this week is all about pregnancy and postpartum and what happens to our bodies. And so I just wanted to see if there were any questions that you all had around after being pregnant, being with someone who is pregnant, all of those other things, right? And if you haven't checked out my free Arts and Science of Seduction class, please make sure you check that out. All you have to do is go to velvetlipssexed.com/shop, and it will, it's a free class. All you have to do is sign up and get the things. I want this to be as wide as, the love languages, you know what I mean? It's just as powerful and amazing. So please make sure you check that out. All right. So one of the tips that I wanted to talk about today, and actually, I'm going to drop it in the chat. I have a blog, and in that blog, it's the Build Your Arsenal blog, and it's all about advice. And I used to write a whole lot. I'm gonna go back to writing, I promise, because I know it can be helpful, and I know people like to see about it. But one of the best articles that I have really is, thinking about how to, do you spice up your life with pregnancy? And so, we often think about your the sexual inhibitor scale, the SIS, thinking about vomiting, nausea. Those aren't the sexiest things during when you're pregnant. But even thinking about, will it hurt the baby or not feeling sexy? That is not feeling sexy is one of the hardest things to overcome when it comes to pregnancy and postpartum and wanting to sort of revive your sex life. And so one of the things we have to understand is that our body is changing. It's doing things that it hasn't done before. So one of the ways that I believe you can combat this is through repeating positive affirmations about your body at least twice a day and out loud. If you are not familiar with the Ultimate Guide to Seduction and Foreplay, our book that Jess and I wrote, I have a whole confidence building exercise in there. And in that exercise, it talks about how this repetition of positive affirmations can really help you and your body, help your brain change, how to reframe, re-anchor yourself. And this is the kind of technique that I teach for sex therapists, sex counselors, educators. So it can be super, super helpful when thinking about you and your body, how you are sort of reclaiming the way that you think about your body, right? Another thing that you can possibly do, right, is to, just do it and just say yes to sex. Factually, we know that behavior is a stronger predictor than feelings, right? Feelings are fleeting, right? They can come, they can go, they can move in all sorts of ways, but it really is about behavior. Behavior is the thing that changes us. And so sometimes you just have to say, F your feelings, just do the behavior, just say yes. And think about what's the disadvantage of saying yes to that thing. Now, if you are unsatisfied, right, dissatisfied, if you are not getting the things that you want, yeah, of course, you've now made it a habit of doing this thing and then not getting the things you want. So of course, you're going to be like, what's the point? But if you know that it feels good and it treats you well and you always can have a big O, it's going to be in your best bet to do those things, right? So maybe it's about you initiating, telling, your lover what you want, how you want to feel, having a plan to, carve out quality time, having your lover explore your body, map out your pleasure zones, and thinking about all of the things and the changes that have happened to your body since you've given birth, right? One of the things that I believe that actually happens to our bodies is that our nerve endings kind of shift, right? Similar to if someone has had like a hysterectomy, right? The nerves kind of shift and move. So it's up to us to figure out how to figure out where those nerves are and where they can come into play, right? So I'm going to drop the link in the chat here to the article that I'm talking about, the blog post that I wrote. And a lot of these things really do apply, after you have been pregnant, or after your lover's been pregnant, or, thinking about sort of your postpartum body, right? Now, here's the thing. If you are finding it difficult to try to find something new, you're just still not used to your body, think about all the different erotic activities that you can do. Sometimes we kind of get limited into being like, well, we used to do this thing, so let's, try to go back to that thing, when in reality, going back to that thing isn't really super useful, right? So we may need to switch it up, may need to do something different. Thinking about our needs, desires, and talking about them can be a really good and fun conversation, right? I think you should always continuously strive to be curious about your body. And it's, it'll show up for you in all sorts of ways, right? But most of all, I think, sharing your story is important, because a lot of times we are in silos around, thinking about, sex after pregnancy or during postpartum. And we know the hormones are wild after postpartum. And especially if you are not, if you're not able to do the, what do you call it? The pills, the postpartum pills, placenta pills, right? I know I was very grateful and lucky that my midwives were able to get my placenta and make it into pills for me. Dried it out, made it in pills, and that really helped me just sort of be happier and not experience that postpartum depression or that that postpartum, what do you call it? Just the postpartum depression, the postpartum just sadness, right? That a lot of people have experienced. So please, make sure if you're able to do that, that would be awesome. I know sometimes if you're giving birth at hospitals, they tend to be like, hey, we don't, they treat it as like, they don't treat it as, what do you call it? They treat it as medical waste instead of like something that your body actually needs. So that's important to also think about too, as you are thinking about your arousal levels and what's happening with your body, trying to adjust to new baby or babies or however many, all those things for people who have, multiples and whatnot. So yeah. Oh my gosh. So I just quickly want to talk about Halloween because I don't know about y'all. I had a blast on Halloween. I went out to Wicked Manors. I got interviewed by the local news. We went as superheroes this year. I went as Storm. We also went as Malachi went as Miles Morales, Black Spider-Man, and Esther went as Deadpool. So we had a really, really great time. We went with our friend Renee, who went and got her picture everywhere. Bridgerton came, Queen Charlotte of Bridgerton. It was so good. And then Renee and I ended up going out to an after party. And then after that party, I went to an after party. So I was, had a really good time, but it was definitely, I blinked and it was like 7 a.m. and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get home because I was all the way in Miami. But it was a really, really good time. I hope you all had a good time on Halloween. I did not get a chance to go to a haunted house like I really love to do, but that's okay. I think that's it for today, y'all. If you have questions, again, you can always submit your questions to me at qrco.de/lovetipsama. I'm happy to answer your questions live here. If you have not gotten the activity bucket list, it's free. You can get that for free anytime. You can get that at bit.ly/eroticme. And that will get you your bucket list. You can download that. And that's one of the ways that you can get reconnected to, your postpartum body or what's happening, after pregnancy and whatnot. I don't have much going on this November. I'm getting ready to do my annual planning. So I'm super excited about 2025. If you are trying to think about like, oh, Marla, you should do this thing, or you have ideas, or there's something you want to see, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to entertain any kind of suggestions you have around 2025. And I think I only have one class that's in December. I'll be teaching with Boundless. So I'll be teaching my Art of Dirty Talk class with them virtually. So you can feel free to sign up for that anytime. I believe it is in the comments. I will probably have a Black Friday special. We'll see. I don't know. If you are on my email list, you will be the one to know about you'll be the first to know about my Black Friday special. And I will be happy to do that. So with that said, I think that is about it, y'all. So please check out my free Arts and Science of Seduction class at velvetlipsexed.com/shop. And you can always check out the calendar too at velvetlipsexed.com/calendar, where everything is on there. And without further ado, I think that is it. Thank you all for listening. This is excuse me, love tips and velvet lips, and I will see you next week. And we'll have a new president-elect by the time I see you next. So stay tuned. We are going to see what happens with education and all those things. So hope you are out there voting. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Bye.